knew that I have been called to be great. My name is Maria I. Melendez, and my parents were born back in Honduras, so I consider myself 100% Latina and 100% Black, so Afro-Latina. Growing up in that time, you were either Black or Puerto Rican in a certain part of Brooklyn, and especially in that part of Brooklyn when I grew up, there was no such thing as Trinidadian or Jamaican. And then I was struggling with low self-esteem, and I'm like, well, the Puerto Rican girls, they got long hair, curly hair, light eyes, light skin. I don't look like them. And I went to middle school, and I got introduced. I had friends who were from all over, and they were so proud of their culture. That's when I started to say, okay, it's all right to kind of not fit in with what kind of society tells you, what checkbox to check off. So that's when I started getting comfortable and being like, okay, I'm the best of both worlds. My career before my life as an entrepreneur, I was in the music business, and I worked at a major record label, and that was my dream job. I got it straight out of college, and that was what I thought I was going to do because I wanted to be the female puff. But I became more and more miserable because the dream didn't look the way I thought it was. I came to a point where I hated it, and I don't like the person that this industry is making me. And I remember crying on the phone with my dad, being like, Dad, I cannot, this is not life. And I'm like, I was not created for this. I was not created to live like a robot. I felt like I was pregnant with a dream, and I didn't want to terminate what I was carrying. So I said, you know what, I'm not going to tell anyone. And me and God had a wonderful conversation. Well, what it was of a conversation. But I was fully convinced that I was supposed to go full time into my purpose. And I had to walk into a wilderness where I was stretched and my faith was tested, and to be honest, my character had to be purified. I had to go to character work in the wilderness, and God kept me there. He was like, we're just gonna keep you there. We're gonna keep going around this mountain until you learn your lesson. And once I started realizing who I am, outside of everything, who I am and whose I am, that's when the change happened. And that's when I was like, I don't want to live my life asking myself, what if? What if I would have pushed a little harder? What if I would have just been a little bit more patient? Come hook or crook, I know I have been created to live a certain type of life. It's that still quiet voice again that tells you you're not supposed to accept this. You're supposed to want more. So that's what has kept me going.
A lot of women deal with depression.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about your suicide attempts?
Mm-hmm. I was in the projects, and my parents did very well. I never wanted for everything. We were good. I just, once again, didn't feel like I fit, and there was definitely a struggle in the home, and there were things going on there, and I just wanted someone to hear me. At that point, I was listening to all those lies that tell you you're not good enough, you're becoming a failure. Look what everyone's saying about you. Feeling as though I didn't matter. Like, it did not matter if I was here tomorrow because I don't have anything to offer. It's like I felt so alone. I felt so like nobody understands me. And when you're in that place, that lonely place, that place where you feel like nobody gets you, it's dangerous. Like, my life's not worth living. I remember being in the hospital the next day and a friend telling me God has you here for a reason. And I didn't know who God was back then. I was like, ooh, whatever, But when he said, you're here for a reason, I had never had somebody tell me that. Like, your life matters. And I took that with me. And that was the kind of a catalyst that changed me. And it took one person to just tell me, you're here for a reason. And I think little things like that, we need to tell each other that, because we don't talk about it a lot of in our community. And even me writing it in my book, this is the first time I'm really speaking about it in this capacity. It's something that needs to be said, because I don't know who else may be struggling with that. But whoever it is, that you need to know that your life matters. You were created for a purpose. You don't even know how dope you are, and your dopeness is all inside of you. You don't have to pay attention to what's going around in your environment. You don't have to be susceptible remember that the only person that matters and the only opinion that matters is yourself. So that's what's been driving me is knowing that I'm exceptional and always having that feeling that I'm supposed to be great. I am founder and CEO of Embrace Your Legacy, an empowerment and educational organization. I am also an author. The name of my book is Take the Limits Off Your Legacy. And what I love most about me is my perseverance. No matter what happens, I know I'm gonna be okay. One monkey will never stop my show.